Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of the ARL Xbox 360 F1 Championship. It's season 6 as it says at the top there, and we're around Spain today. My name's Matthew Gallagher and joining me once again is Ryan Littlemore.
Pleasure to be back, Matt, and hopefully we're going to have a very intriguing race here at the Circuit de Catalunya. So
last season Noble 299 took the victory, unsurprisingly, with ACR Raven coming home in second, with xMattyG finishing the podium places in third. And the season 5 pole position came from xMattyG himself with a 1:18.8, but unfortunately had a little not touch into turn 1, which ruined his chances. So let's see how everyone gets on this season.
This week's qualifying sees the guys go at it head to head in the worst conditions the game can provide. They're on the blue striped wet weather tyre, and it's Noble 299 versus Tracy 92 this week. As they come down towards turn 1, they're braking around the 100 metre board, and as they swing the car in third gear, we've got Noble using the curves through turn 1 and 2, whereas Tracy isn't. We'll see through the first sector split which was the right decision, as they now come through the difficult turn 3 and down towards the end of the first sector. As they cross the split, it's Noble a couple of tenths up at this point. As they swing it into turn 4 in third gear, Tracy down into second for this part, but back up to third quickly, as they now let the car run out wide, bring it back towards the right hand side of the track for turn 5. Both of them hitting the apex pretty nicely there, and then on the exit powering down the hill through turn 6 and then through the very difficult turn 7 and 8. Both of them hitting the apex on the left very nicely and using just the right amount of curb on the exit up towards this blind turn 9. Very difficult to get it right, can't even see the apex of the corner until you're halfway round it, so very good driving by the pair of them to get it perfectly on this qualifying lap. As they brake around the 100 metre board through the second split, is Noble gaining more time on Trace at this point in the lap. Just the final sector now, the filliest part of the track. Through this long hairpin in second gear, Trace using third for it, but they're both pretty much even on the power as they come out through this 90-degree right-hander down towards the difficult final chicane. Both in first for the first part and the second part. As they now open up the throttle for the final corner, it's Noble taking pole with a 27.1, Trace down in ninth with a 27.7, and that is the qualifying comparison for this week.
Many thanks to Harry for that nice qualifying comparison there. So as indeed Noble did get pole with a 1:27.151, with Randy McScrandy in an impressive second place in the middle of the Toro Rossos, as Matt is in third position. ToGomies and TRL Limits in the Saubers are 4th and 5th. Big Shot Player in 6th, with Mazy CZ once again proving very well in 7th place. Rich C is in 8th, with Tracy 92 in 9th, and Fizzy Fan in 10th, with 8 tenths off covering the top 10. The Contadins is in 11th, with Rhino 83 in 12th, iProX Callum in 13th, with ACR Jordan 14th, LC Speed Demon in 15th, and Bedhead Nerd completes the field as he received a grid penalty for his incident at turn 1 in Bahrain. We are ready for an action-packed race here. Let's go to the race.
It's round 5. We're around Spain today, and it's the first for this season. It's heavy rain. It's xMattyG and ARL X360 commentating once again, and this is going to be one hell of a roller coaster.
It will. We've got 33 laps of action-packed racing as we are all set to go. And Matt, take us through the start.
We've got 4 lights, we've got 5 lights, and we're revving the cars and we're away! It's heavy rain, there can only be... Oh, they've got to be very careful indeed going into turn 1, but xMattyG's seems like he's got a reasonably good start, and Ricky already getting past Big Shot, and he's not even down at turn 1 yet, so he's got a great start up into 6th place, and he's given TRL a little bit of a nudge there, maybe a tiny bit of lag between them, and it looks like a Toro Rosso's gone off there, Ryan.
Yeah, it was xMattyG. There might have been contact with Tigger as Mazy's gone off as well, and he's just gone all the way back to last place. And also to mention as well, we've got 15 runners as Bedhead Ned did disconnect at the end of qualifying, as we're back on board with Ryan, and he's going to try and get past Tracy 92 and also his teammate Fizzy, but really it's only the first lap and there could be a lot of different change of positions during this first lap.
Yeah, I think everyone's being pretty tentative at the moment, just trying to get used to this heavy rain scenario, as indeed we come on board with xMattyG, who's down to 6th place after that turn 1 incident. I can tell you that he is actually using the aggressive fuel strategy, so he's going to be looking to try and make as many places back up as possible, as he will have a lot less fuel than some of the other runners.
Yeah, as we've just seen there, Traceman92 has gone wide and has given Ryan the place, as Ricky C looked like he cut the corner there, Matt.
Yeah, he's tried to go out the inside of Tigger and cut the corner completely, let Tigger back through, which is the good thing to do. And now xMattyG looking at the inside as Ricky runs very wide indeed. Now MattyG coming back up into 5th place. He must get the move done now as he has the inside line, and he's up into 5th.
Yeah, that's good driving that from the pair of them. As Fizzy now, he's in 8th place. He's got his teammate behind him, and looks like Tigger's gone wide, and yeah, Matt's gone through, and Ricky's gone through as well. So that's a mistake there from Tigger. We don't see a lot of mistakes from him there, as Noble is now 9 tenths clear, I think, of Randy, if that's correct, Matt.
Yeah, we now have a replay of the turn 1 incident. As you can see from Ricky's point of view, he gave TRL a little bit of a nudge with this famous lag bubble phrase, as we all love to hear. And on board with xMattyG now, just going around first corner, minding his own business, gets a massive nudge, and then comes onto the track pretty dangerously, but at this point I think he just couldn't believe that he'd been taken out of turn 1 once again.
Yeah, as we've just seen a replay of Mazy there, just going off there. And yeah, we are back on. Is it Fizzy? He's just going to get gifted here a load of places. He's up into 8th, and he's possibly challenging Big Shot there, as we're back on board with Mazy later on in the first lap, and he's going to take ACR Jordan up into 14th place. So Mazy's got a hell of a job if he's going to get into those points. Yeah,
it's a really good move by Fizzy that we just saw there in the replay. As you know, he saw the gap and he took about 4 places in the space of 1 corner. So brilliant driving by him, up into 8th place. So we'll see what he can do with that, as Ricky C loses the back end going through that very tricky right-hander. It's tricky at the best of times, even in the dry. And but in heavy rain, as Tigger now coming up the inside, but now Ricky switched back on him, and now he's going to have the outside line for the next corner. So what's going to happen here? Tigger looking up the inside now. They're side by side. Ricky's running a little bit wide, and Tigger gets back the place again. It's great driving.
That is very good driving from Ricky there. Just keep it on that outside and stick it, and he has to trust the car on the inside as well to not come up a bit, and there could have been contact, but fair play to both of them. As we're back on board with Fizzy, who's still in 8th, and he's really staying behind a bit, waiting for these guys in front of him to make a mistake. And as Big Shot has done, and Fizzy's going to try and go around the outside of Big Shot up into 7th place, and he's got that move done there. And he's keep it around the outside, and is he going to keep it? He does indeed.
It doesn't look like Big Shot's very confident on the brakes going into that hairpin. As Trace looks like he's lost the car completely going into the hairpin himself, and that's gifted iPro X Callum a single points position at this moment in time. But Callum's run a little bit wide. Is Trace now going to look up into the inside of the next corner? I don't think so. And we're now on board with Mazy CZ, who is seen as one of the really good people in the wet, because, you know, he's had great performances in the King of the Rain competitions we have in the ARL, as he's now tapped Contadins a little bit, caused him to get out of shape, and then just taken the position there, Ryan. A bit of a dodgy move there.
Yeah, it was. And just want to mention as well, we're on to lap 3, there is no DRS. It's been disabled because of the wet weather conditions. As we're on board with Ricky, who's now in pursuit of Tigger. I think, Matt, Tigger's really struggling in the wet, isn't he? He looks like.
Yeah, I don't think he's a massive fan of the wet anyway, but he hasn't done much practice because of several issues, I think, with his TV and things like that. So he literally has just turned up to this race. So fair play to him to still be up in 5th place, no matter, you know, no practice done. So just shows the sort of raw sort of speed that he has just to pick up the game and play.
Yeah. As Fizzy, he's still keeping behind Ricky and Tigger. So Fizzy can just back off a bit. He's got plus 7 laps of fuel, so I know for sure he is definitely on the cautious fuel run. But I do know in the field, lots of drivers are doing different fuel strategies. As you said with yourself, Matt, xMattyG using the aggressive fuel strategy. I think the leaders are as well. Is that correct, Matt?
I think Ricky C is using the sort of, what is it? It's not cautious. It's the one in the middle. I don't know what it's called, but the middle one anyway. So I seem to recall him having plus 4 laps of fuel, which I'm sure he hasn't burnt 4 laps of fuel in 3 laps. So I think he's using the middle one, which gives him sort of enough fuel to go to the end of the race and maybe push, but also, you know, not too much to bog the car down. As Big Shot making another mistake at that chicane. So Big Shot does seem to struggle in the wet conditions.
He is, and we're back on board with Noble. Is that that's Matt? I do apologise, as Matt set a new fastest lap of 29.8. Ricky 1:32.1. So really, Ricky is really off the pace. He's like nearly 3 seconds off the pace of Matt on that last lap alone.
Yeah, you can see on the mini-map, the top 4 are just getting away by just seconds per lap, because I don't know if it's Tigger holding everyone up or not. It doesn't look like Ricky's really hounding him at the moment, but the top 4 are getting away, an absolute treat here. So this could well be, Ryan, a 4-way horse once again.
Yes, the 4-way horse. Yes, but we might have a 4-way horse at the minute with Tigger holding everyone up, so you never know. There could be more than 4-way horses, Matt. It
could indeed. But anyway, Ricky C has now got past Tyranno Tigger. This could be crucial for the rest of his race, because I think Ricky has got the pace over Tigger, which I don't think we've actually said before this season anyway. So I'm now on board with Fizzy Fan, who's still in a solid 7th place, keeping in front of Big Shot, who is, you know, a very fast dry runner but seems to struggle in the wet. But Fizzy has lost the car a little bit and gifted Big Shot 7th place, which I think he will be a little bit disappointed with. But Big Shot now loses the car in the next corner, so Fizzy back up into 7th place. I think he'll be relieved with that.
He is, and next person behind Big Shot is Ryan, and he's really keeping the back. He's seen Big Shot making those mistakes, so Ryan can just wait and wait until Big Shot makes another mistake, and Big Shot there cut the corner completely. He must have maybe locked his front right or something.
I think he's cut that corner 3 laps in a row now, so he's going to have to be very careful, otherwise either he's going to get an in-game penalty or he's going to get a few drivers complaining about the way he's driving. But either way, Mazy's lost the car in that same hairpin. The drivers seem to be struggling quite a bit as Noble runs very wide into turn 1, and he's not getting away, is he, Ryan, though? Like the top 4 are very closely matched together.
Yeah, and there's the proof of it, the evidence. Noble has no KERS. His KERS is broke, so he can't really pull away as much. And yeah, as you said, a lot of the drivers, look, as you can see there, Mazy once again making a mistake. But a lot of the drivers have been mentioning that it's really hard to get the car stable in, particularly one of the corners which you saw there, where Fizzy made a mistake, Mazy made a mistake as well. That happened at the start of the final sector. So these guys really need to be careful on the brakes and how they use, if they're on a wheel, with the pedals, or on a pad, which you do with Matt as well. So how do you do it, Matt? Like, anyone who's using a pad at the minute?
Racing in the pad in the wet is not favourable, just purely because you have to be so tentative on the brakes, because obviously you have a lot less leeway in terms of how much brake pressure you put on compared to a pedal. But you just got to you put the brake pressures down. I think you know, a lot of the pad users will be using low or medium brakes. Sort of like medium standard, I think, is the one that a lot of people use, or maybe even medium small. So yeah, it's just to sort of change the setup, you know, as Mazy makes another mistake, but to change the setup accordingly, just to make sure that the car is set up as well as it possibly can for the wet, and then you just have to deal with the rest of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I just want to point out as well, while we were discussing that Ryan L83 got past Big Shot and is up into 8th place.
Because Randy and Limitless are battling really hard there, and xMattyG may have given Limitless a little bit of a touch, but they've still maintained their 2nd, 3rd and 4th in those positions. But Limitless has run a little bit wide now, and xMattyG using some of his KERS going into the middle sector. Is he going to look at the inside? No, he's thought better of it, but Limitless has now run wide. xMattyG down into 2nd gear to get the acceleration he needs, and he's now up into a podium position where he started.
Yep, that's a good little move there from Matt, up into the podium spot. Next target in front of him is Randy McScrandy, who is still not that far behind Noble. So Noble might still be having problems with his KERS, but hopefully he will get that fixed and he can pursue and keep the lead from these 4 guys up ahead. So you never know, Matt, there could still be a 4-way horse going on here.
It certainly is right now anyway. But I think MattyG's just looking, because of the fact he was using this aggressive fuel mixture, is to push on. I think he may, you know, he could have been challenging Noble at this stage in time had he not been taken out and dropped down to 6th due to the first corner incident. But anyway, you know, he has to just deal with it now. He's in 3rd and he's looking reasonably good, as well as so is Randy McScrandy. I mean, he's having a great showing, just like he did in Bahrain.
He did. He had a very strong performance there, and he kept up with Noble, so you can do it for a 2nd week in a row. So we're going to have another replay of Trace92 as he's going to go past Callum, looks like, as he's gone wide. Maybe braked a bit too late for turn 1. And then we're on board with the contadins as he's going to take Callum again. So Callum there having a very poor lap there, losing 2 positions in 1 lap.
Yeah, it looked like he made 2 completely separate mistakes and just couldn't seem to regain the composure that he needed to keep the car on the track. So Trace92 up into 10th place, but he's lost the car. Oh gosh, that is... Oh no, and Contadins has now gone up into 10th place. And it looks like Callum's now going to take back that position that Trace took from him earlier on. So yeah, the drivers are struggling because they haven't had the heavy wet running that they were really expecting, especially for Spain. You know, you kind of see Spain as a nice hot track, don't you?
Yep, very, very nice and sunny conditions normally, but yeah, it's going to be a hell of a task with these guys in the wet. Obviously, we get told, I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes for us before the race, what the conditions are going to be. So it really is a lottery ticket to determine what the weather is. And LC, yeah.
LC, just cutting that corner ridiculously. I think he's now giving Mazy that place because I think he could see that Mazy was going to overtake him. So fair play to LC. But yeah, just to carry on from what you were saying, Ryan. Yeah, the weather is, as F1 2012 has a weather sort of glitch, especially on the Xbox 360. I'm not too sure if the viewers have seen this as well. As xMattyG runs a little bit wide and breaks too early, late even, not early, and he's actually going to lose a position to TRL Limitless as well. So, that's frustrating for him, but still within the top 4. So hopefully, you know, with these conditions, a lot of the drivers do make mistakes throughout the race. But anyway, what I was saying about the weather conditions, no, let's not. Let's just see how xMattyG decides to completely lose his head and make another mistake, Ryan.
He did. Even the quick guys are struggling at this time. We've seen Tigger and now we've seen Matt. So anyone can make a mistake. And oh, we've got someone off there. Turn 1. Is that Callum? Yeah, it is. Wonder what happened there.
Another mistake for Callum. God, he's not having a good race at all. But let me try and get out this weather thing now. So because there's a glitch in the weather where some people can see dry conditions and others can see wet when we choose dynamic, we've decided in the ARL to basically have a more sort of real-life approach to it and actually check the weather conditions for the circuit an hour or so before the race, well, for F1 anyway, so that we can try and make it as realistic as possible. And obviously we don't have that many weather conditions to choose from, but you know, we have enough to choose from: heavy rain, light rain, overcast and things like that, just to give it, just so that we don't have dry running the entire season.
As we're back on board with Fizzy, who's got Ryan behind him, his teammate, and Tigger in front of him. So it looks like, Matt, we have another four-way horse going on here with Tig, Fizzy, Ryan and Big Shot.
I think we should get that trending on Twitter, hashtag four-way horse. But anyway, Tyranno Tigger in 6th place. He has dropped well off the back of Ricky C, and he makes another mistake into the chicane. Fizzy fan now up into 6th place. I thought Fizzy was just had maybe had a one-off at Bahrain, just having that pace, but it seems like he has got pace around here as well, Ryan. Yeah,
and also Ryan got past as well. He got past Tigger. So Tigger dropping down. He's now in 8th place. He's not really. He's not like this. He should be up there fighting for wins, challenging Noble. And as you said, he has had issues obviously with his TV, so he hasn't had a lot of practice than the other drivers would. But now these two, Ryan and Fizzy, can work together, use a bit of multi-21 orders possibly, and just get away from Tigger and Big Shot, and hopefully challenge 5th place, because it looks like 5th is not that far away. It's maybe about 8.
Looks like Fizzy's made a mistake though out of that final corner. Looks like Ryan's now getting a really good run on Fizzy. They're teammates, but it doesn't look like there's much team orders going on here, as they're now side by side going down towards turn 1. We're now on board with Fizzy fan. Is Fizzy going to try and outbrake him? He is. He brakes later than Ryan and hits the apex beautifully for that corner and keeps 6th place.
Yep, obviously these two do not want to hit each other, obviously. So Ryan kind of gifted back the position as he doesn't want to turn on his teammate. And he made a really bad mistake coming out of that corner there, and Fizzy's pulled a big 8 temps on him there.
Yeah, I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was just the fact that that corner is awful behind another car, just due to the dirty air and the understeer that the cars receive when following another car, especially through there. It is awful. So you could just see from Ryan's perspective there that, you know, he just ran wide, doing absolutely nothing wrong. As we're now on board with xMattyG, trying to get back into a podium position, as TRL Limitless and Randy McScrandy are battling very hard ahead, which has allowed xMattyG to get straight back in this battle. And it looks like Noble is getting away a little bit now.
Yep, it's about, I thought it was about 2 to 3 seconds the gap now between Noble and these guys, as Matt just goes a bit wide and gets a bit of gravel on his front right tyre, which won't help him in the next corner, especially as I'm back on board with Ryan, who's right on the back of Fizzy again. So Ryan is he's got +3 laps, and he was using the standard fuel mixture at the start of the race. And we've got Randy going wide again, gifting TRL Limitless 2nd place, it looks like. And Matt is recovering well from that mistake he made.
Yeah, it's a really good battle between second, third and fourth here. I think they're pretty much even for pace. I don't think anyone's really going to be getting away from each other anytime soon, as Randy cuts that chicane an absolute treat there, but it is really hard to see where the apex is for that corner.
Yeah, as I just want to point out as well, Ricky, as you can see on the mini-map, has pulled away from the four-way horse going on between Tigger, Big Shot, Ryan and Fizzy, so you never know, Ricky could possibly catch up to the likes of Randy, Limitless and Matt at some point if they're all making mistakes and challenging each other for position.
He could indeed, but I think he is quite far back, but we'll see. Maybe his pace will increase as the race goes on. But we're now on board with contadins, with TraceMe92 just ahead, and this is for the final points position. But we've now cut to Fizzy Fan going through turn 1. He's having still a decent showing. He's got plus 4 laps of fuel, and his pace is reasonably good, but he's lost the car a little bit out of that very strange place to lose it. And now Ryan is right on the back of Fizzy once again. The two teammates, as you said earlier, they don't want to be crashing, but at the same time, if Fizzy is slower than Ryan, then Ryan's is going to want to get through. Yeah,
and Fizzy's gone a bit wide, and Ryan really not using curves, so that's very surprising. But he doesn't, as you said, doesn't want to take his teammate out. So Ryan's backing off a bit. They've got a nice 3.6 second gap to the car behind, which is TraceMe92. So yeah, these guys are doing a pretty good job not to take each other out, which is good, and not like Vettel and Webber did in Turkey 2010. But Ryan making a mistake, a tiny mistake, and Fizzy's got building another gap. But we're back on board with Matt, who's still behind TR, Limitless and Randy, as Big Shot has retired from the race. Don't know what happened to him. Could have made a mistake, gone off, or maybe had a wheel problem. But we'll have to wait and see at the end.
Yeah, not too sure what happened with Big Shot, to be honest, but I know all we know is that he wasn't having a very good race, looking at other people's onboards footage from earlier on in the race. But we're now on board again with ARL X360 trying to look at Fizzy Fan. He hasn't got much curves for this last corner and the stretch down to turn 1, so, and he's actually made a little bit of a mistake as well. So Fizzy, I think, will be safe for at least for that lap. As we're now back on board with xMattyG, with Limitless and Randy still very close. It looks like Limitless has actually made a mistake and dipped himself into the gravel. And now xMattyG now going past TRL Limitless and up into 3rd place.
Yeah, and
lap 16.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. One thing I wanted to ask as well for the viewers that may not know: will these guys have to make a pit stop?
Yes, yes, they will. Because I think, as you just saw there with the car indicator for xMattyG, I think that all the cars will have to pit because the tyres are orange. And it's just about coming towards the half distance. So I think with this game anyway, at least if you try and no stop in these conditions, your tyres will puncture at about lap 28.
Yeah, we just saw there, Ryan has made a massive mistake and is in the gravel, and he's losing a lot of position as Matt has gone off as well. And also, as you can see on the screen, TraceMe92 has destroyed his vehicle yet again. He's not having a good race, is he? Not a good season.
No, not a good season at all. And I can say for xMattyG, he was just coming to that corner, and as he went into the braking zone, the TraceMe92 destroyed their vehicle came up, and he was put off an absolute treat into that corner, and then that meant he locked up and was raging at the fact that TraceMe92 destroyed his vehicle. But anyway, we now have Noble299 coming into the pits. We don't have a pit lane reporter, I'm afraid. They've all just decided that they're going to quit. So Noble coming into the pits now. He's got a 5.2 second lead over TRL Limitless, and looks like Limitless has carried on, as well as xMattyG, but I think Randy's come in the pits as well. 2.9 second pit stop for Noble there, so a very decent stop for the Toro Rosso team.
Yeah, and we're on board with Ricky, and Matt's going to be behind Ricky at this point.
Noble.
No, Noble. My mistake. Thank you, Matt, for the correction there. Yeah, Noble has to really get past here, but the problem is, how long will the likes of Randy, Limitless, and Matt stay out for? Because the tyres don't look that bad. You can see on Fizzy's tyre thing on the screen on the right-hand side. Just want to point Ryan as Fizzy's up again. He's dropped. Oh, that's not good for Fizzy, is it? No.
He's been in a really good sort of solid 6th, 7th place, but there's been errors creeping in. And that's the crucial thing in these conditions. If you want to get a solid 5th, 6th place or something like that, you don't have to have the pace. You just need to not make too many mistakes. As Fizzy's now paying the price, as he's now in a train for that 6th place.
Yeah, and I just want to say as well, Ryan made that mistake and has now dropped to 10th as well. So both Marushas are making tiny mistakes, as Ricky's made a mistake as well. But Noble doing the sensible thing and lifting there, not to make any contact with Ricky. As Noble knows, Ricky will have to make a pit stop, or he can gamble and stay out to the end, but it's not really wise around here, is it, Matt?
No, it's not. As you can see, he's starting to struggle on his tyres now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the pits, and he does indeed. So Noble now goes back up into third place. Obviously, he's in a net first position. He's got a 6.5 second gap over Randy McScrandy, so he's looking pretty comfortable once again for Noble. But anything can happen with these conditions. And as you can see, Mazy's tyres are looking pretty destroyed, if I may say so myself. But then he has made a few mistakes, which doesn't help the tyre wear.
Yeah, as we're into the pits and Ricky's in, and it's another 2.9, so it's a good pit stop there from Caterham. As we're on board with Fizzy now, he's going into the pit lane. Can he repeat the 2.9 that we saw from Ricky as they put another set of wet tyres on, and it's another 2.9. So the pit crew here, Matt, are doing pretty consistent times.
Yeah, I think with this game though, obviously in F1 2010, the drivers actually had a sort of impact on how fast their pit stops was, and you had to brake at the right time, whereas this game, it really is literally about a tenth between all of the pit stops. So, as Fizzy makes I think, was this the replay? Yeah, it was the replay of the same mistake that he made. As now xMattyG now coming into the pits, a few laps later than Noble and Randy McScrandy, and I think Limitless is coming to the pits just in front of him. So, I'm not too sure why those guys stayed out for so long, because now Noble and Randy would have got the undercut on the fresh wets, which do have sort of give them an advantage, as Noble sets a 28.8, which is a good second and a bit faster than xMattyG's current fastest lap. So it does show that the undercut works.
Yeah, and we've got Trace Me 92 and the Contadins in the pit lane. We've got a pit battle going on here, and Trace does get out, and we've got on board with Mazy, and he's been held up, and he's lost the place to Contadins. He's dropped to 9th place now.
Yeah, you can see he had a 3.1 second pit stop, but that was purely because he had to let the car that was coming down the pits, I think it was Contadins coming down the pits, he had to wait for him, so that was the reason for that. As Mazy coming straight out of the pits and making another mistake. This is the guy who was finishing second in a lot of the King of the Rain races, and he's down in 12th place at the moment. This is I'm absolutely shocked that he is not in the top 4.
No, I'm very surprised as well. Want to point out as well, Ryan 83 is still out on the track, and he's trying to. Obviously, when he made that mistake, he was about 4 seconds off the train here before they all pitted. So Ryan is using all his fuel at this point to try. As you can see, we're back on board with him as he's going to make a pit stop. And you can see he's burnt up a lot of fuel. He's on +1, so he's going to be struggling at the end if the likes of Fizzy, Mazy all got +3 or +4 laps of fuel if they were on the cautious fuel mixture at the start. As we're on board with Trace 92, as he's coming out the final corner using the rest of his curves, and it looks like it's going to be easy meat here. Is ACR Jordan, and Trace 92 is now up into 6th place as Ryan did into the pit lane, and he's come out of the pits now just behind Mazy. So Ryan has gained a bit of time to the cars in front of him in this battle for, I think it's 7th place, I think.
Yeah, so Trace 92 up into 6th place. A good showing from him, considering I think he was in about 11th or 12th, as Jordan takes a very strange line into that corner, and I'm not surprised that his car's just sort of stepped out as Constantine then goes past him, but Jordan hasn't pitted yet, I don't think, and this is why he is now holding everyone up. Look, you can just see the difference between a fresh set of wets, as Fizzy is completely put off by Jordan's driving and goes straight onto the grass.
Yeah, if I'm honest, Jordan will have to pit at this rate. But he did say he was attempting the no pit stop strategy. But if you're going to do that, you need to really short shift through every corner. As Mazy is going to get past his teammate, iPro Callum, and he gets that inside line and gets 9th place. So next for him is ACR Jordan, and Mazy's going to have a hell of a task getting past him, considering, as you said, Jordan is struggling on the tyres. As you can see, he goes wide in that section. Fizzy's still in there. He can still get at least 2 points, it looks like, obviously, when Jordan pits. But he could get past Mazy as well, so we have to wait and see. As we're back on board with Ryan, and he's caught up well, considering he made that mistake, Matt. So do you think Ryan could have a chance of some points?
I think anyone really in this entire train, sort of down to 12th place, has a chance of points. Obviously Jordan has to pit, so he's obviously not in the sort of points battle, I wouldn't think. But it seems like a lot of these guys are making mistakes, so it really is just up to them. And if they want some points, they don't want to make mistakes. And Fizzy makes another mistake, and he's down into 12th now. As Ryan now coming up the inside of iPro X Callum, I think that is, and they're side by side. Callum somehow managed to keep the car with some sort of speed around that corner, and he's still trying to keep looking up the inside of Ryan. Please don't crash. We don't need more crashes, as Limitless sets the fastest lap for 28.7, but it looks like Ryan's got that move done.
Yep, getting 2 places there, Ryan did. So Ryan is in the points paying position at the minute. And is ACR John pitting? He's still staying out, Jordan. Most of these guys will getting a bit agitated now. They want to get past him and hunt down Trace92, who has kind of now built a nice gap of about 2 to 3 seconds to this train of cars, as Fizzy is revving at 316 kilometers an hour, braking into turn 1. He's took that apex nicely there, Matt. Is that a good line to take?
Yeah, you don't want to be riding on the curbs too hard, especially in the wet conditions. Otherwise, as you've seen with Mazy making mistakes through that turn 1, you just don't. You will want to stay away from those curbs as much as possible, and downshifting into just make sure in second gear. If you take it a gear lower than what you would in the dry. I think that's what I like to say anyway. Like here, I'd probably even go down into first if you're going that slowly round the left-hander. But Fizzy's decided to keep it in second just to get a bit better of traction, to be honest. But yeah, it's just. I think it's just been a really sort of interesting, as Jordan again making another mistake on those worn wets, and I think he will now decide that he has to pit, because I mean he was going the wrong way.
He has to now. There's no option. He has to pit. I think he's letting through LC Speed Demon, as Jordan has indeed gone to the pit lane, it looks like, from the mini map. As Fizzy's going to try and go down the inside of iPro Callum, but he just can't get it done yet. And he's going to try and go around the outside. Brakes a bit early, then he's going to attempt the inside line as Callum.
Yeah. If he puts in curves now, he might be able to get on the inside of Callum, but he's come off the curves. See, I don't understand why he wouldn't just unleash the curves and just dive it up the inside, and that he probably would have had Callum there, but instead he has to sit behind.
Yeah, there's got a replay of Ryan, and he's trying to. Ryan got disconnected. That's a real shame for him, would you say, Matt? He's had a poor connections.
Yeah, Ryan's disconnected. How many times now with this season is that?
I think it's only 2.
Is it 2?
One of them was before the race in China, and obviously this one here. But it's a real shame for Ryan. He's having a dismal start to the season, like he did in last season when he was at uni. But he's back at home now, so he probably has a tiny bit of time to practice a bit more. But yeah, he's got to sort this internet disconnections. Otherwise, he is going to have a chance of being relegated at this point.
Yeah, again. But anyway, we're now on board with the contadins, who's following Mazy CZ. I think Mazy did just pass him into turn 1, so it's a good move done by him. But it is actually quite interesting. Mazy was only topping out about 311, 312 kilometres an hour, so he's got quite a short gearbox for the wet. Whereas Noble sets a new fastest lap of a 28 flat. He is now just crushing the competition. Look at the lead he has over TRL Limitless. He's just cruising once again.
He is, and just one notice as well, he was on optimal, so he will have the fuel save. But
he's got a 14-second lead though, so I don't think he has to worry too much about that. As xMattyG in 4th place with Randy McScrandy and Limitless up the road once again, as it looks like, is that Limitless is just going over turn 2, I guess that is.
Randy.
No, it's Randy. So Randy's made a mistake battling with Limitless, and now he's fallen into the clutches of xMattyG.
He is, and I wanted to see what fuel mixture Randy's on, in terms of how many, if he's got +1 or he's on +2 or optimal. As Matt is also on optimal, so Matt's going to have to try and stay in the draft of Randy McScrandy and just staying lean, I think. That's what I would do. And just save a bit of fuel and then just wait for Randy to make a mistake like he just did there. And then Matt can pounce and then try and catch up to Limitless and get Toro Rosso another 1-2 finish.
Yeah, I think it was obviously quite disappointed for xMattyG at the beginning of the race, because he was using the aggressive fuel mixture, as Contadins makes pretty much exactly the same mistake as Fizzy did earlier on in the race, and oh gosh, he rejoins the track. Very interesting there. But xMattyG, he was on the aggressive fuel mixture as Randy makes another mistake, meaning that I think he started with +1 lap of fuel, so he's had to pretty much use standard the entire race. And obviously the pace at the beginning of the race was quite quick for xMattyG, and he managed to catch up to the top 3 as he just nudges Randy through this chicane. So, but with the mistakes that he's made, and the others have made as well, it's just sort of cost him quite a bit for this race at least.
It has, and Matt has still got 6 laps to go, so he can still, as he's in the draft still, drops it to standard to save a bit of fuel, as he's maxed out at 199. Was that 200?
Yeah, I think 201 maybe. I'm not too sure, but yeah. So I think he's using quite a far right gearbox, just to, you know, when he is in the slipstream of the car ahead, he does make the most of it, and I think that's what he expected of this race. He didn't expect to be out in front, so I think it's probably a good choice for him with the gearboxes. It looks like a Ferrari's in the gravel. It's the contadins. Once again, there's so many mistakes. I mean, this is the top league in the Xbox 360 side of the ARL, and the drivers are struggling like crazy in the wet conditions.
Very, very. As I've said previously, any driver can make a mistake. We're all not aliens here. We're all human, and we all make mistakes. So, Fizzy's is really just gonna stay behind Constance here for this bit, as Constance, I think, is really struggling now in these conditions now. He's made a lot of mistakes in the last 3 to 5 laps. So Fizzy could get 8th place here. And don't count out Callum as well. He's only about 2.5 seconds behind Fizzy at this stage. So you never know. Anything can happen in these races, as we've seen previously. And Fizzy has a great chance here, I think. He's going to use the rest of his cars. He had half a dose left. And he's going to probably use half again here. So look at the speed difference here down the straight. And looks like Fizzy, I think, has got a short gearbox there, 316 kilometers, which I think is about 197, 196 miles per hour, I would say. So I think Fizzy has a disadvantage on the main straight.
Yeah, but then obviously it's supposed to give you a better acceleration, and you're supposed to get up to 196 a lot quicker than those who have got 199. As xMattyG makes a very slight tap on Randy, and Randy is now lost the car, and xMattyG's got the position, but he will have to give that back. So I think this may well be the end of the fight for second place after that. I think Randy was extremely slow going to that hairpin, and I don't think xMattyG really expected his car to still be there by the time he got into the corner, but it seemed like Randy decided to hang on the apex of that corner for quite a long time.
Yeah, I just want to mention as well, Randy has backed off a bit, and he's 1.4 behind Matt, but if I was a steward, I would say let Matt give the position back to Randy, but we'll never know. We'll have to see what it was on Randy's view. And as you can see there, Randy has got past Matt. Matt did let him through, so it's good respectful driving there from the pair of them.
Yeah, but the battle was still very much on for this third place, so we will see what happens with that. And as you can see on the mini-map, Ricky C, we said about him earlier, he is only 3 seconds back with 4 laps to go, and as some of you will know from previous races, he loves to save his fuel for the last few laps. So let's watch out for him and see if he can close in on a podium position.
So we'll have to see. There. Matt still, he's got a full dose of curse, so I'm thinking he will save it for the exit of the final corner. Matt is very confident at taking that the exit of the final corner beautifully, as we've seen a number of times from his POV, and he's using a bit of curse there just to keep the speed the same as Randy will. I think Randy would use the curves as well. As Matt goes really wide into that hairpin section, you don't really want to do that if you want to catch up to someone. As we're back on board with Mazy, he's coming towards that hairpin section now, as he's got Tracy92 in front of him, only 1.5 seconds behind with 4 laps to go. So, and Mazy's made that mistake, so count that battle happening, I'm afraid.
I was just about to say, this is a great recovery drive from Mazy, considering the amount of mistakes he has made. I thought, you know, he's up into 7th and he's almost on the back of Trace, and then he's made another mistake. But we're now back on board with xMattyG in 4th place, Randy McScrandy just ahead. I think xMattyG really feels like he deserves a podium, especially, I mean, he was really confident for if it was going to be dry to potentially fight with Noble and whoever else would be up at the front, but, you know, it didn't work out well for him, and it's actually heavy rain. But he's dealing with it as well as he possibly can. And now Ricky, 2 seconds behind with 2 laps to go. So it's going to be close.
It is. And I just want to mention, Ricky gained 1.3 seconds on the last lap between Matt and Randy. So if he does another lap like that, he's going to be right on the back of these two, and he could get a podium, Matt. Any one of these guys can get it.
He could. I think Ricky gained only a second, actually. I think it was only 3 seconds from the last time we got a check, but it's now 1.9. So he's getting closer and closer, that is for sure. And if there's any mistakes made, xMattyG runs on that curb very hard indeed, almost loses the car. But it looks like it's going to be very close. It doesn't look like Randy's got much fuel at all, because it seems like he is particularly slow, especially in the straight.
I think he's in lean, I think, for this penultimate lap. He may go up to standard for the final lap, as Matt will have to use his curves. He's using the rest of it. He's straight up to the fast, rich fuel mixture, as we are now on the final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix here for the Apex Racing League. And Matt is hunting him down now, 199 miles an hour, braking in. He could have turned in a bit early there, hit that apron nicely, but hasn't really lost any time to Randy. Into that dirty air, as you said, it's very hard to get right through that corner with a car in front of you. Using a bit more of his curves there, Matt, you're going to take us through the second half of this last lap.
Yeah, he's gone in rich fuel mixture. He's trying to keep an eye on his fuel as much as possible, but he doesn't want the car indicator there the entire time, otherwise it's going to put him off. But he is trying to get that podium position. He wants it so badly after being taken out of Bahrain at turn 1 after what looked like quite a promising sort of result he could have had, and he's gone down into -1 fuel mixture. He's gone back into optimal, now back to -1, so he's going to have to put it in lean just to make sure he doesn't chug over the line. So now he is now coming down this sort of middle sector straight. It's not a very long straight, so he's going to now put it back into standard, and he's crucially gone back into optimal, and he's right behind Randy now. So Randy is struggling, but now Noble 299 comes over the line to win. But now xMattyG's run over the curb too hard. He's hit that bump. Where's Ricky C? There he is. He's going up the inside of xMattyG once again. There's a little bit of a touch, and now xMattyG's now down into 5th place. He is going to be raging. Look at that. Oh, he's lost his head a little bit. He's gone over the curb ridiculously. But Ricky C once again takes xMattyG's position away from him, like he did in Bahrain and like he did in Malaysia as well. He is not going to be happy with himself.
No.
As you can see, driving into the wall there.
Yeah, as Trace is going to come through with an impressive 6th place for him. Great performance by Trace. Mazy comes in 7th place. The Contadins will come in 8th, and he's going to cross the finish line now as he uses the rest of his curves. There's a 130.1. Fizzy will come in 9th place there. Another points finish for him. As we're going to see Noble now, he's going to be extremely happy. He's won 5 in a row. Is he going to take it 6 in Monaco, Matt?
I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see, just in terms of entertainment purposes. But Noble 299 took the victory, 17.7 seconds ahead of Limitless. I think everyone kind of thought that was coming. Randy McScrandy in 3rd, holding off xMattyG there at the end, 20.3 seconds behind though. Rich C stealing that position from xMattyG, with Tracy92 coming home in 6th place, a great result for him. 7th place, Mazy CZ, I'm surprised he managed to get that far up the field considering all of those mistakes. 8th Contadins, 9th Fizzy Fan, and iProX Callum in 10th place. LC Speed Demon just missing out with the points, 1 minute 19 behind, with ACR Jordan in 12th after all of those collisions and spins and everything else. Ronald 83 disconnected in 13th, with Tyranno Tigger 14th, Big Shot Player 15th, and Bedhead Ned, who disconnected before the race started. Hopefully, I really want to see a new winner at some point.
I do as well. But the Drivers' Championship Noble there, 5 from 5, 125 points. Has probably say that's 59 points clear of TRL Limitless, with Randy McScrandy in 3rd, Matt in 4th. Rich C now with that impressive 4th is now up to 5th. Big Shot Player is the biggest loser, I would say, out of that, is 6th there. Mazy in 9th there. Fizzy Fan in 10th. Ryan Beat is losing out to Fizzy there in the battle of the teammates there. ACR Jordan 15th there. Tigger apparently has left the league, hasn't he, Matt?
Yeah, Tyranno Tigger has pulled out of the league due to the fact of just not enjoying the game, and he wants to go and get a job apparently, so good for him. Constructors' Championship, Toro Rosso still getting that margin to McLaren and Sauber, and it really does look like it's almost 100 points between 1st and 2nd, so we'll see what happens. But the next race is Monaco. Oh, that's going to be interesting, isn't it, Ryan?
It is going to be interesting, Matt. Very interesting. We'll see how it goes next week.
We will see. That is on the 26th of May that's being held. So we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to round 5, the Spanish Grand Prix. I hope you enjoyed the heavy rain. We surely did. I've been Matthew Gallagher.
And I've been Ryan Littlemore.
And we'll see you next time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Bye-bye.
Take care.